Sports. Peter Schrager reporting the Browns and Giants fielding calls for their picks near the top of Thursday's round 1 of the NFL draft. The Browns hold the number 2 overall pick, while the Giants are at number 3. The targets look to be Colorado two-way star Travis Hunter, Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter, or Boise State running back Ashton Genty. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
More, please. Golf in the Northwest with Jason Swigart is back. Saturdays at 8 a.m. before the Sinner and the Saint on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. This is the week for the Jimmies and the Joes.
Thought about taking a little person into the backfield and throwing them over the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, in short yardage situations. Now, there are several issues with this. In that it's not legal at all.
This is a Draft Week edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Get $2,000 off a new energy-efficient system now through May 31st. Call or visit aeheatingandcooling.com.
You can't just sit there and just say, all right, we're just going to throw him over the top. Is this like a read play where you're trying to figure out where he go, like where the weak spot is, and then you toss him over?
Yeah. Do you go over center? Do you go over guard or tackle?
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's a read play.
Direct snap to
Are
the
we talking
back?
a sweep?
Draft Week with Danny and Dusty on 1080 The Fan.
Good afternoon! Hey, welcome in. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Danny and Dusty with you. Jeff Rust back. Sup, dude?
Sup?
How you doing?
Dude?
How you doing?
Not better than the last couple days.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What happened?
Just, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. It's seemingly more and more lately, but there are things that are not agreeing with my tummy.
Oh.
Yeah. So we went out to a local establishment Saturday afternoon after my kids' game, and everybody else is cool. They were all good.
But you were not.
I have eaten very little since that outing on Saturday afternoon.
Lord's diet right there.
Good Lord! But I will say, at least it's only a one-way street, so I don't have to make a hard decision.
Well, cool. I hope everybody enjoys their lunch today.
Hey, I tried to leave that as vague as possible.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. We announced this yesterday, and I think it bears repeating again today. Danny, June 24, a Tuesday, which is a Tuesday today. Your local Toyota dealers present the 11th annual Fan Golf Classic out at Langdon Farms Golf Club. Huh?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Love it.
It's brought to you by Henderson & Daughter Windows and Doors. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Round of applause. Live studio audience. And Philbrook Law, Accident, and Injury Lawyers. It will be Tuesday, June 24th. We have a morning and afternoon round. If you have a preference, y'all's got to get on this soon.
We say it every year.
Every single year.
The morning fills out faster.
Oh, my gosh. It just goes.
Well, can I get a morning time? I don't know. Did you get it in time?
Yeah. Oh, let's get ahead of that. No, we can't change your time. I would love to if I could, but that's just not possible.
No.
I can't change the time in which you are going to play in the tournament because we have only a certain amount of foursomes available in the morning. Once those sell out,
you're done.
We're done. So go to 1080thefan.com. You can click right there on the Fan Golf Classic logo for details and to purchase your foursome. Look, Matt's Barbecue is going to be there. We're going to be rolling out whomst is going to be on each hole. We have vendors all over the place. It's always a great time. We will have more details as we get further along, but your local Toyota dealers present the 11th annual Fan Golf Classic out at Langdon Farms Golf Club. It is back Tuesday, June 24th. Go to 1080thefan.com. Sign your foursomes up right now. You will not want to miss it. It is an incredible time.
It will be the first bookend of two very fun days for us.
Oh.
Because that is a Tuesday on the 24th.
On a Tuesday.
You know what happens on a Wednesday?
No.
The NBA draft.
They're doing it on a Wednesday?
Uh-huh. June 25th is the NBA draft.
So we get a day full of excitement followed by a day full of letdown.
I might be drinking
Probably.
2 days in a row.
Dude, now I have ideas of what we need to do. We need to have a chipping contest where we have draft prospects up.
Hole in one is
And-
Cooper Flag.
And you got to chip in. Oh, yeah, you get Cooper Flag
Yeah.
if you hit a hole in one.
Yeah.
No, we're going to have, we could do it to where that's our official Fan Golf Classic poll is you chip into the bucket. So, I mean, the Blazers missing on their draft pick, we're probably going to have a lot of misses on the chip-ins too, you know?
I bet you that the Blazers with a 3.7% chance have a higher odds of success than people chipping into the bucket.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right. I think we should try it.
Four out of 100.
Yeah. We'll already know where they are, so we'll have this will be who do you want the Blazers to get in that spot.
There you go.
All right. And Dave, you'll be posted up at that hole. I
Yep.
think that is the hole
There we go.
where you can answer all draft questions. We're going to have a backup. It's going to be terrible. Rust, the fan text line coming in with an assist. Maybe you're gluten intolerant like this person.
My dad found out he was not lactose, but like dairy protein intolerant, so he doesn't eat cheese anymore.
See, like I eat a lot of bread.
I'm
the
sad for
bread, the
him.
bread ain't the problem. I eat a lot of bread. The bread isn't it.
Yeah,
Just could be that perhaps it was a slow cooked meat that perhaps was not kept at a proper temperature.
Okay.
That's my guess.
All right. All right. Well, hey,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I know. Yeah.
Maybe you
I eat
are
lots of bread.
gluten intolerant.
I eat lots of bread. I
You're
do
a
good with
breadman.
bread.
You're a breadman.
Yeah.
I've got a problem going around right now. You've noted my hat I'm wearing today.
Yes.
I'm wearing a Southern Oregon University Raiders hat. I love my Raiders.
it's a nice dad hat.
It is a great dad
It's
hat.
a great dad hat.
However, the looks that I have been getting around town, like when I was out running errands this morning wearing, it is a bright red hat.
Oh.
Until people actually see what is on there, I have gotten equal, like the sup and the
Scout.
ew. Yeah, anytime you wear a red hat now, it instantly goes to that's a MAGA hat.
Which
And-
people are dumb.
I'm wearing, yeah, but it's like I get a look of disappointment no matter what. Either they're excited and then they're disappointed that I'm not wearing the MAGA hat, or they're disappointed that I'm wearing a MAGA hat, and then their face just doesn't change
Yeah.
after you walk by them. They're just like still like, no, it's like it's a good hat.
It is a
it's
good
a
hat.
good looking hat.
All you get is the RBF. For
Yeah.
everybody.
And I'm just sitting there like, you can't wear red hats anymore.
Well, and it's not like it's just, there's a logo on it. It's not just plain white text on a red hat.
Yeah, but when you're walking up, people they see red. They see red, just like the saying, seeing red. All they see is the red, and then they get close enough, they're like, oh, okay. And then I've just noticed the way they look at me when I wear this hat, a little bit different.
Yeah.
A little bit different.
Little side eye.
Yeah, you do. You get a side eye
Which
out
is
of
funny
it.
because
It's just a hat.
every team in this city has red except for the Timbers.
Yeah. What? The Thorns, Winterhawks, Blazers.
Blazers.
Yeah.
Like
And the Timbers have
They-
they,
they have
have
like a-
they have
like a
maroon.
maroon, yeah.
They're
But like-
alternates.
but like red.
Red. Yeah, it's kind of our thing.
Yeah.
You know.
And red and black,
Mhm.
which is what you've got going on there.
I got that, and then we have Southern Oregon red and black, Western Oregon red, silver, white and black.
So, maybe it's also because if you squint hard enough at it, it almost looks like a Patriots logo too.
It kind of does.
Yeah, if I saw you from far off, it could be like the alternate Patriots hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I've got a thing for the flying head logos. Apparently.
Yeah.
That's just kind of my jam. Even though this logo, the current iteration, was not around when I was at Southern. So we called it the chicken hawk. It was just a big old red tail hawk. Now they
streamlined it.
They made it cool.
Yeah.
They made it cool. Yeah.
There's a little Southridge flair to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are they, the Skyhawks? Yeah.
Southridge?
Yeah, and the Skyhawks?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
I don't know, but that school's too new for me.
Yeah.
Even
see?
Westview wasn't open when I graduated. That was the year after. I know, right? Get off my porch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is going to be the second oldest high school in the Beaverton School District once the new Beaverton is built.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Sunset.
Because when I was
Sunset
done, it
will
was
be
just
the oldest.
Yeah.
it was just Beaverton, Sunset, and Aloha.
Yeah,
Which I didn't realize it's not they don't identify as the Warriors anymore. I think I saw Aloha.
They don't? What are they?
Weren't they the Rainbow
forget.
Warriors?
Well, no.
No, that's Hawaii.
I thought they did have
were
that
always the Warriors, but it was a Polynesian character. I
Maybe that's
think
why
they're
I was
still the
thinking of that.
Warriors, but I don't think they use that anymore.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong. Let's see.
Because of the aloha of it all.
Right? Makes sense. We have a text. This is the same reaction I get when I wear my all red Angels hat. Yeah, dude, it is real. Throw a red lid on.
Well, I mean, I
and
wear
just
a Cardinals hat all the time, and I don't get it.
Just notice the people will. They give you. Well, yours is an actual like baseball hat. There's something
Yeah.
different. This one is like it is a dad hat. It's like a golf hat.
Yeah.
It doesn't like stand up like
Right.
the MAGA hats do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You get the look for some reason with these hats.
It's like you can't even wear a pointed white hood anymore.
That's not even. I cannot take you anywhere. No,
Not the same.
no, you can't.
They ruined it for us.
No, you can't.
They ruined it.
No, you can't. Man. All right. Hey, you bros ever seen Curb Your Enthusiasm where Larry figures out people will leave him alone if he's wearing the MAGA hat, so he only wears it in public?
That one was hilarious.
I have not. I've heard of it. I have not seen it.
Oh God, yeah, he's like in a coffee shop. He's like, just kind of points to it. People just leave him alone.
Oh man.
Unbelievable.
All right. Let's get this show on the road, shall we? We got a lot that we need to get to today. We need to get to the NFL draft. There's a lot. We talked about this yesterday. Smoke season. We got smoke screens left and right. And it's really starting to heat up around one guy in particular that it'll be the most curious case on Thursday to see where he goes. We've got NBA playoffs. Oh my gosh, two great games.
After just stinkers on Sunday, we
Yeah.
got some bangers last night.
Yeah. Yeah. With the exception of that Warriors-Houston game, they were stinkers. But even the Warriors, like, they ran away with it. And then it was a close game at the end.
It was close at the end. But, yeah, I mean, both these games last night were tight all night long.
Yeah.
And you had tremendous individual efforts.
It was great basketball being played. We'll discuss this, but Dame is back.
He is.
Dame is back in a big way.
He's ready to go.
And then I found a list that we need to get to today. The highest paid athletes of all time.
And just how much money they've made.
There were some surprises on there.
Really, when I was scrolling through it, it went about as
when you take
what I
into
expected.
inflation. There were some surprises in there, I believe. And then and inside the NBA, killed Billy Ray Bates, Blazers legend.
Not dead.
And then had to call takebacks on it. So we got that today as well. Where we got to start? Let's get to the news du jour. News of the day.
Ooh.
Damian Lillard will return to the Milwaukee Bucks tonight as they have Game 2 in Indiana, one of 3 NBA playoff games tonight. That is where we start. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
The Blazers
All right. Damian Lillard will return tonight for the Milwaukee Bucks. He has not played in a basketball game since March 18th when he was diagnosed with deep vein thrombosis. To you and I, that is a blood clot in his calf. He has been cleared. Doctors say they haven't seen anything like it. It is quite amazing that Lillard is going to be returning this quickly from that injury. And tonight, he's going to play. We talked about this yesterday. If there is a chance, Lillard will play. And after watching how that game played out in game 1 over the weekend,
boy, do they need him.
There is no doubt in anybody's mind he is going to want to get out on the field or the court.
Same thing.
Field court.
Field of play.
Yes.
That's what you're going for.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, I was trying.
Thank you for trying to save me.
trying
I
to-
appreciate. Hey, you know what? I appreciate that about you.
Little rope.
Yeah.
rope.
I'll get enough to hang myself.
Yeah, a little bit. No big deal. God. Got Jeff over here.
We're going back to that first segment already.
I know. Jeff over here with
Jeez.
his freaking pointy white hoods. You're over here hanging yourself. Good
Man,
Lord.
hot dang.
Somebody on the text line talking about finding KKK memorabilia. It's one of those days. Good Lord.
Yikes.
I mean, it is Oregon.
And
It's
it
out there.
wasn't Dallas, he said.
Yeah, it's a tough place out there. But as it pertains to Damian Lillard, if you saw Dame at the end of the bench wanting to tear Tyrese Halliburton's head off, you knew he wants to play.
Yeah.
Like, you just know he wants to play. And it's very reminiscent of the bubble in Pat Bev and Dame wanting to rip his heart out,
Yeah.
of which he did.
Yeah, he did.
So I expect Dame, like, I don't know how he's going to play. I know the mentality and the attitude he's going to come out with.
He's going to be the killer tonight. And this is going to be the interesting part, though. What does that look like playing alongside Giannis?
Mm-hmm.
Because the killer in Dame, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, is a selfish ball hog who just rips your heart out.
Mhm.
I mean, you can't do that playing alongside one of the greatest players in the world.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see, like, well, here's the thing. When the Bucks have been at their best, it's been splashes of Dame through the first 3 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
And then fourth quarter, it's the Dame Giannis. That even though that pairing hasn't really been what it should be in the pick and roll, there's been games that they figure it out for like a 10-minute stretch, and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
And that's what I wonder, like, can they get to that? Because we know what Dame can do in big moments. Playoffs is about dudes. If you watched the Nuggets Clippers last night, you saw Kawhi Leonard be a dude among dudes. And
Absolutely.
we'll talk about that
insane.
a little bit later. But, like, you saw Cade Cunningham for the Pistons be a dude. These series come down, like, everybody talks about depth and bench and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it matters, but it's the dudes. And we know what Dame is in the playoffs. He's a dude. And if they can strike that balance and they can figure that out, and the problem is neither one of these guys have been healthy in the playoffs together.
Yeah.
Since they've been there.
How many games? Because Giannis played, what, one or 2 games last year?
I think he played 2, but one of them he was very much, the calf bothered him again, and then Dame played the final 4, and it was like they went, and Dame was dragging his leg behind him. Like, neither one of them was right. So they have not had a chance in the playoffs to be that yet. And that's the thing that I'm looking forward to is, like, look, Hallie barking up that tree, Dame manufactures chips. We know who he is. He manufactures chips on his shoulder. You don't want to poke that bear. You don't. I love Hallie. I love him as a player. He's one of my favorite players in the league to watch. Just the way he sees the floor. He's the closest thing we have right now to Steve Nash, where he manipulates the floor so much. And he's not he's a quote-unquote pass-first point guard, but he's not a Trae Young pass-first point guard where he has to dominate the ball so much. Like, he'll give it up immediately, and then unlike a guy like Trae who's not going to work off ball, Hallie will work off ball, get it back, ping it around. Like, he wants to just keep the ball popping. But he's not the kind of guy that wants to go tick for tat with Damian Lillard.
Mm-mm.
Because when you get into those games, Dame's going to win that.
Yeah. And I wonder how Giannis will react, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because if Dame gets into that mode, just clear out, let him go, right? Because it will be good for you.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that Giannis,
He doesn't like
he
to
likes
defer.
the idea
Mhm.
of having a 1B.
Mhm.
He doesn't like it in action.
Yeah.
And you can see that when those two guys are playing, and when Dame is on one, it's hard for him to defer because he's never had to do it in his entire career. And he was always surrounded, even on their championship team, he was surrounded with a bunch of guys
It's Drew and Chris.
that they never had stature like that. And it was okay to just facilitate everything towards him. That will be fascinating to me because you mentioned it at the very beginning of the segment, right? In the playoffs, stars carry you.
Yep.
And it is something that LeBron James does not get nearly enough credit for.
When his guy is going,
That
he
dude
defers.
will defer
Mhm.
like nobody else that we have seen.
I mean, guys used to kill him for it. Remember Skip Bayless? LeBron's not the guy you want taking that shot. He'll make the pass. And it's like now we talk about Jokic, like it's a good thing
But
that
you
he
know what?
always makes the pass. It's like, yes, he's making the right basketball play.
But you know what? Jokic, they don't talk about Jokic like he's the best player to ever play the game. And he might be at the end of the day.
Yeah, like when it's all said and done, when you're talking about pure unadulterated talent, he might be the most cerebral player the game has ever seen.
We think about guys like Jordan. No,
No.
he wasn't good at that. Kobe.
No, God, no.
Well, that's the reason why he and Shaq also needs to be put into this. It's the reason why they didn't get along is because they were always butting heads on who number one is, right? Like
When you go into the top 10 players of all time, it's probably
Magic.
and Tim.
Yeah.
That those are probably the only two. Because even Steph's very different because he does his work off the ball.
Yeah.
But he's not deferring, so to speak. You know what I mean? He just doesn't have the ball as much. And so you look at really the top 10 players of all time.
I'd put Steph in there too.
I think you
I'd
could
put Steph
you
in
can
there.
maybe slide him in.
But
I'm not
we
going to
also
fight you on it.
we also know that KD sure as hell didn't like it.
No.
Because they knew the pecking order
Yeah.
there. And hell, the GM even said it at the parade when he said, well, not you, KD,
Yeah.
about being their guys,
Oops.
There was a pecking order in place there.
But it's really only, again, talking about the top 10, it's Magic and Duncan.
Yeah.
They're the guys who just, Magic Johnson played center, for God's sakes.
Yeah. He's a point center.
I mean,
Incredible.
as a rookie, came in, was like, all right.
Oh, I've got the NBA's all-time leading scorer and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah, I'll play with him.
Yeah. It's like they did stuff that it was a whatever is necessary to win. I mean,
Yeah.
Tim was the guy, but you had Parker, you had Manu, and then later on you had Kawhi.
Yeah. What do you think about this text, though? Like, 503-864-6326, fan text line. Bucks need defense and Dame don't play it. I mean, he is not a good defender. We all know that. But I think in this series, in this game, they don't need him on the defensive end
How he's
as
not getting
much.
22 shots up.
They need that scoring punch to make it a track meet.
And here's the thing, like, no, Dame's not a great defender, but in the playoffs, if you go look at his history, he doesn't get hunted. They tried to. Like, throughout his entire career, they like
Well, because they were doing that to CJ instead.
exactly. But even then, like any team, like if they hunt Dame, if you put him in pick and roll, it's harder for him. But if you try to ISO him, he's actually been a solid ISO defender pretty much his entire career, considering what he is.
Yeah. All right. Well, he's back tonight.
Yep.
I'm here for it. 4:00 NBA TV. That is the NBA TV series. Oh,
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
Oh hell,
That's it.
the Clippers Nuggets Game 3, NBA TV.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah, there's the first game and into it for LA
Look,
in the playoffs.
I'm
in the
gonna-
new building. It's on NBA TV. It's
I'm
like
gonna
flex that in.
I'm
man.
an NBA executive decision this. Grizzlies Thunder should be on NBA TV.
Yes.
The Bucks Pacers should be on TNT tonight. But I'm not going to do that. They haven't given me that role yet.
I think TNT
Yeah.
is hoping it's not another 51-point game.
Well, they could lose by 50 and it won't be the worst.
All right. Nobody lost by 50 last night.
Nope.
What a great night of basketball. And I want to start in reverse order because Kawhi Leonard, holy smokes, the robot crushed it. Danny and Dusty, here's Rust, SportsCenter.
This is Draft Week with Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Vulcan Design and Construction. Check out their award-winning outdoor living designs or schedule your free design consultation at vulcandc.com. First on The Fan, a trio of Game 2s tonight in the NBA playoffs. First up, 4 o'clock on NBA TV. Damian Lillard, yes, says he'll play tonight as the Bucks try to even the series in Indianapolis. The Pacers, though, are 4-point favorites. In the first half of TNT's doubleheader, after a 51-point win in Game 1, the Thunder 14.5-point favorites over the Grizzlies. That tip is at 4:30. And then that'll be followed by the Lakers trying to salvage a home split with the Timberwolves. The Lakers are 6-point favorites over the T-Wolves. Mariners wrap up their road trip with a 3-game set at the Red Sox starting this afternoon. Bryce Miller starting for Seattle. Brian Bello for Boston. 3:45 first pitch on Root Sports. The Mariners 12-10 on the season. They start the day a game back of the Rangers for the AL West lead. And ESPN's Peter Schrager reporting the Browns and Giants fielding calls for their picks near the top of Thursday's round 1 of the NFL draft. The Browns have the number 2 overall pick, while the Giants hold number 3. The targets appear to be Colorado two-way star Travis Hunter, Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter, or Boise State running back Ashton Genty. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
It's back. The 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club happens Tuesday, June 24th. Presented by your local Toyota dealers. Reserve your foursome now at 1080thefan.com.
Holy guacamole. What a pair of basketball games we had last night. And I want to start with the second one of the double dip, where the Los Angeles Clippers even the series with Denver at 1 apiece, stealing home court advantage at Mile High. Did you know that?
Oh, no way.
5,280 feet.
Is that how high that arena is?
Yeah, dude.
Did you see?
You would
I've
never
heard that.
You'd never know if you watched a game
Never heard it.
or seen their alternate uniforms. You'd never know.
Did you see Kawhi and
Not
Jokic
once.
at the end of the game?
No.
Both of them stood on the floor, bent over, hands on their knees.
Yeah, those two guys played their butts off.
They left everything out there.
Kawhi Leonard, the robot, he fared far better than the other robots. You see that they had humanoid robots run a half marathon in China?
I did
in
not.
Beijing.
No.
Yeah. It did not go well.
Did it sound like this?
No. They had 21 humanoid robots running a half marathon against people. The winner was a human. That ran about an hour and 30 minutes. The top robot ran 2 hours and 40 minutes. They kept falling over, and they had to stop to get their batteries changed.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, that seems like it takes a lot of power to power those
Winning
things.
time for a human, 1 hour, 2 minutes. Robot, 2 hours, 40 minutes. So, hey, don't worry about the robots. They're not coming for us.
They can't catch you yet.
Unless it's Kawhi Leonard, because that guy will snatch your soul and be the scariest thing ever. From start to finish, Kawhi Leonard was incredible. That was like one of the more perfect basketball games a player can play.
9 shots.
We
He's
talked
9 for 9.
We talked about 20 turnovers as a team for the Los Angeles Clippers in Game 1, where he had 7 of those. He had 1 turnover last night. But it was the shot making to where I don't understand how a person can stay as focused as he was, because he was a 9 of 10 at half, and he had 21 points at half. That 3-pointer at the buzzer at halftime, the degree of difficulty, and they even said on the broadcast, like, that's an incredible shot. He had 3 defenders, 2 hands in his face, 1 in front, 1 on the periphery. And then he had somebody in his landing spot, and he didn't care. He just rose up, flicked, bucket. That shot is way more difficult than what anybody gave it credit for.
What he did last night, there was a play in the first half. He caught it towards the end of the shot clock. It was a pass above his head. He had to jump up and grab it, and he grabbed it. And people have talked about the size of Kawhi's hands. Kawhi, I think, has the biggest hands in the league right now. It's either him or Edie. They just, like, again, Kawhi is 6'7", Edie is 7'4". Kawhi's hands are, they have them at, when you go into like the Naismith Hall of Fame, like the little exhibits, they have Kawhi's hand there because his hand is so big. And I think they actually have it when the NBA exhibit comes through town, and you see fans like put their hands in there. His hand is a foot long and almost a foot wide. Like, just think about that for a second. Like, he's got 4 to 5 inches each direction over your hands, if you're listening right now, just in general. The way he caught the ball is he just snared it out of the air, jumping straight up. He comes down with it and immediately goes into his dip and rises up, and it just rips the net. And I was like, that is the most robotic-looking thing I've ever seen an NBA player do, because it was straight up and down, snatches the ball, and in one movement gets into his dip and right back up. And the ball touched nothing but, like, if you go back and watch his makes, it doesn't touch anything but the net. And it's just, there is 0 fat on Kawhi Leonard's game. 0. There's nothing extraneous about what he does. He had one, I mentioned it last night. He goes little tween twice. Hezzy drives, pulls up, shoots. And it, like, Jamal Murray, you would think that he just got hit by hot sauce, just rolling him around left, right, center, because he said no way to go. But he hit him with 2 moves. And it was just like lull you to sleep, Hezzy, blow by you, Jamal Murray goes 4 feet too far, stop on a dime, raise up, hit, and it was just like, this is a Terminator that is doing nothing more than he has to do. And that, when you talk about being able to do the most with the least, that's what he is.
Yeah.
And it's just, it is brilliant to watch.
When he is playing like that, and then you have the ability with James Harden, who back-to-back games, I thought he has made timely shots. He's been really effective. He wasn't as efficient last night as he was in game 1, but still making really high degree of difficulty shots. And then Zubac, man, like that guy, he is, you mentioned him and we were previewing this series on Friday. It's crazy to say this, but 26-10 from Jokic, that was a win last night. And Zubac, on both ends of the floor, came up with big stops, a deterrent, and big plays offensively, man. He had a hard running floater leaning across the lane where it was just like he kind of flicked it like he was throwing a dart at a dartboard. And I was like, what?
Did you catch the interview with him after the first quarter?
No.
So
I had that on mute.
Oh, he is huffing and puffing. Look, I love Terry Porter for telling me this years ago. He goes, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. The first 15 minutes in Denver will sap your soul. That's why it's so hard to play in Denver. It's can you survive the first 15 minutes? It doesn't matter how long you've been there if you're not living there, because it takes so long for your body to get used to the oxygen levels. And Zoo is just huffing and puffing and puffing and puffing. And she asked him, how do you stop Jokic? He goes, you don't stop him. He goes, my job is just to make him work as hard as possible. Yeah. And that's what that was a thing coming into this. I said, look, there's no such thing as a Jokic stopper in the NBA. It doesn't exist. But if you make him work for everything and you make him not one-dimensional, but you make every dimension of his game tougher, that's how you win. Look, the Blazers had the blueprint. The blueprint. It is single cover Jokic as much as you can, unless he starts killing you. And if you've got Nurkic before his leg snaps, or you have to have a massive human because Jokic, I think people look at him and they see this kind of dumpy guy and they don't realize how strong he is. This 7 foot, 270 pound dude leaning on you, bumping you all game, and he's got cornbread farm strength. It wears on you, but you have to do the same to him because his motor at his size might be the best ever. And so if Zoo can do that, it's a win. Like, that's the thing. If you can just be that guy that makes Jokic work that hard for every minute, because when Jokic isn't on the floor, you know what the plus minus is?
I saw that they popped this up last night where it was just I don't know what
it's more than a point a minute.
Oh my gosh.
It's like 1.24, I think is what it was, 1.24 points per minute that he is off the floor. So you have to basically win every minute that he's off the floor, because when he's on the floor, he's like a plus 10.
Yeah, he was net neutral yesterday, 0 plus minus. And you end up losing by 3. Those are his minutes that he's not on the floor. Yeah. What they did get, and this is where it feels like it may have been a wasted game, Michael Porter Jr. showed up in a big way. Whew. He played outstanding. He'll disappear again, but they needed him, and he performed well, and then they still lost. That is where I look at this series and I go,
what's the lever they pull?
Clippers are the team that can adapt better in this series. Because
you look at, for everybody who's like, you had the built-in excuse before they fire Mike Malone. Mike Malone doesn't play his guys. Adelman's out there. Is anybody else playing?
7 guys. So you had 5 minutes from DeAndre Jordan, 7 minutes from Jalen Pickett.
And you had 13 from Peyton Watson.
Yeah, and 23 from Russ. But you look at that bench and you go, God, who the hell else are you going to put out there?
But that's my point.
Strother?
You get Nuggets fans who are like, play these guys. And I'm like, they're not playoff dudes. They don't have an answer to.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. It's like, you got to have the dudes, man. Yeah. Like, it's just, right. But I just want to highlight this. Do you know what Kawhi Leonard, do you know what his playoff numbers are for his career?
No.
He is a 51, 40, 85 shooter in his career.
That seems
in the
pretty
playoffs.
Good.
In the playoffs, he's averaging 22, 8, and 3 on 51, 40, 85.
He's really damn good when it matters most. And last night, in the first half of this game, One thing that we knew immediately about Kawhi Leonard was that big moments never rattled him.
No.
And yesterday we saw there may be another name that has that it factor. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. Oh, man, awesome. Somebody on Twitter says they're paying the debts of the first people that message with alive. God bless y'all. I just got that on Twitter.
Nice.
I'm sure I just need to DM in my bank information, huh? Maybe my social security number? You think that'll work?
Don't forget your mother's maiden name.
Yeah. The street I grew up on, my first pet's name.
Exactly.
Yeah, all of these things. All right, we had a new star emerge. You want to talk about the it factor. Cade Cunningham, he feels like he has it. We discussed after game 1 of that Detroit-New York series that it took Cade Cunningham a quarter to get used to what playoff basketball is.
Mm-hmm.
He came out firing.
Figured it out.
In the
Turns
first
out,
quarter last night.
being a 6'6" powerhouse of a guard, really conducive to playoff basketball. He put his shoulder down and just battering rammed his way to the rim over and over. Right hand finish, left hand finish, floaters, pull ups. That man lived in the paint. And there was a couple times where he's still trying to figure some stuff. That's the thing is, he's still trying to figure stuff out. He had 33 and 12 last night. But he got a little too...
Started the game 4 of 7 in the first quarter.
Yeah, he got a little too deep in the paint, and they collapsed on him, and he tried to spin back because he loves to spin. The crazy thing about him is most guys only spin one way. He can spin right hand or left handed. He spun back into traffic a few times. It was like, all right, you need to snake that dribble a little bit more. Keep it like you'll learn the finer points when they, because the difference in coverages in the regular season versus the playoffs drastically different. You're going to get guys overcommitting. I was talking to an evaluator earlier, last night, about the Russell Westbrook, spacing, but we call it the Sasha Thibault rule, right? How that originated when you would play off of Cephalosha. You play 4-on-5. That happens in the playoffs. In the regular season, you don't get that. And so that extra defender with not 1 but 2 feet in the paint, you have to be aware of that. And sometimes the right play isn't kicking it out. Because that's what the defense is saying. We're going to live with Al-Farouq Aminu
stepping out of bounds before he takes the 3.
But if you go back and look at that Pelican series, Aminu was really good. Really good. I think he shot like 44% from 3 in that series. But getting the ball out of Dame's hands mattered so much more, not just because it's somebody else shooting, but you neutralized what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And what Cade figured out was, I know how I need to get to my spots and be aggressive and put the pressure on them and not overly defer to the guy that they want me to give the ball
Well,
to.
and I think that led to a big point of contention with Knicks fans last night on social media was the free throw discrepancy, and you saw that the refs they played some catch up. At one point in the game, the free throw discrepancy was in favor of the Pistons 20-4.
Mm-hmm.
20-4. And at the end of the game, it was 34-19. The free throw gap, still sizable. But what you just laid out and described was the big difference there in that game. Now, do I think New York should have probably had a couple more free throws sprinkled in there? Yeah. But Cade Cunningham got to the line 12 times because he was putting his shoulder down and being aggressive. And we know this about in the NBA. The more times you go to the rim, the more opportunities you will have at the free throw line. Look at the other guys that had big free throw nights. So 10 of 12 from Cunningham. Jalen Duren had 6 free throw attempts. Dennis Schroeder had 6 free throw attempts. Those guys, one is a big, the other is a downhill guard as well.
Okay, so these are the numbers from last night, from the playoffs. Number 1 in drives last night, Jalen Brunson, 24. Number 2, Cade Cunningham at 23.
Also, you can say the overcorrection by the officials coming. We talked to Habistrat yesterday about an all-time low free throws in game ones
there was
across
some
the board.
ticky-tack stuff called last night in both games.
And
Did not like it.
It was what was it? They were under 20.
It was 18.2, I think is what it was.
Yeah, free throws combined, right? You had 34 in the night game, and then in that the early game you had what's 34 plus 19?
54.
53. 53 free throws. A little bit different. That overcorrection came. I want more of game one than game ones than what we saw in game twos. And I hope tonight we see a little bit more of that, because
it was very inconsistent.
That Pistons-Knicks game, it got a little throwbacky Eastern Conference basketball in game one. I want more of that.
Look, I said this in the Rockets-Warriors game. I love the fact that the screeners are being allowed to be physical with screens, and screen defenders are allowed to grab, pull. Like, we have legislated strength out of basketball. Like that, it bothers me, because like, oh, it's so much more pretty when you play fast and free and open. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
Because you're taking a swath of players in the league who aren't the fastest, but you're saying that speed and quickness matters more than strength. And look at the NFL as a comparison. As things have kind of gotten back to a little bit more run-centric, would you agree that the game's better?
Yeah, it is. It's fun.
Because you're allowing the big, strong people to be big and strong.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing is true in the NBA. Now, I don't want games in the 60s and 70s. I don't want that. But there has to be a balance of, like, letting Jalen Duren be a freak.
Mm-hmm.
If Jalen Brunson's going to put his shoulder down into Jalen Duren and bounce off and throw his hands everywhere, I like it when the ref takes his whistle out of his mouth and drops it. Like, no, dude, you're giving up 100 pounds. Why does he have to get out of your way?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
Well, it was a good game.
It was.
Down to the wire. OG Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns, after each scoring individually 23 points apiece in game one, they combined for 20 points total in game two. There's your difference right there, right? You can say free throws all you want, but it really does come down to Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby either not creating their own looks as they did in game one, and not converting on them like they did in game one.
Well, not just that.
You lost by 6, man.
Jalen Brunson, you talked about Dame and getting selfish. Brunson got super selfish. And look, there's Knicks fans right now are killing Tibbs for not getting Karl Anthony Towns the ball. And I'm like, man, if you're a dude, you go get the bleeping ball.
Yeah.
Karl Anthony Towns' last shot came with 5:20 to go in the third quarter. He played the entire fourth quarter.
He should not be third in attempts on that team.
Like, go get and if you're Karl Anthony Towns and you haven't seen the ball, go in the freaking huddle and say, "Get me the bleeping ball."
Yeah.
Go run a hard screen, break away from whatever set and go do what you need to do. Look, and Tibbs needs to get him more involved. There's no doubt about that. But the thing is that we've seen this from Cat over his entire career, disappearing. He has had more games under 12 points or under 15 points in his career than he has over in the playoffs.
That's no good.
Because he disappears. Don't get me wrong, when Cat is great, he's very good. But Cat doesn't have okay games. Cat has either very good games or where the hell is Cat?
There you go. Yeah, you're
it's
right.
Like,
that's why people don't buy into Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah. All right, let's get to the NFL draft. It's coming up on Thursday, everybody. The NFL draft from Green Bay, Wisconsin. It is smokescreen season, but there's something that is growing, and it's been growing throughout the entire draft process. Could we see nearly a third of the first-round picks be from one position group? Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
Danny
brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on The Fan, a trio of Game 2s tonight in the NBA playoffs. First up, 4 o'clock on NBA TV. Damian Lillard says he will play tonight as the Bucks try to even the series in Indianapolis. The Pacers are 4-point favorites in the first half of TNT's doubleheader after a 51-point win in Game 1. The Thunder now 14.5-point favorites over the Grizzlies. That tip is at 4:30. And then following that is the Lakers trying to salvage a split at home. 6-point favorites hosting the Timberwolves. The Mariners wrap up their road trip with a 3-game set at the Red Sox starting this afternoon. Bryce Miller on the hill for Seattle. Brian Bello for Boston. 3:45 first pitch on Root Sports, and ESPN's Peter Schrager reporting the Browns and Giants fielding calls for their picks near the top of Thursday's first round of the NFL Draft. The Browns have the number 2 overall pick, while the Giants hold number 3. The targets look to be Colorado two-way star Travis Hunter, Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter, or Boise State running back Ashton Genty. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
It's back. The 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club happens Tuesday, June 24th. Presented by your local Toyota dealers. Reserve your foursome now at 1080thefan.com. It's all about taking a leap on the next star.
Penix out of the pocket. Penix pump angle. Pylon touchdown. There's Nix going for the long ball. He's got a step on him, and the Broncos strike early with the touchdown to Franklin from 43 yards out.
This is a Draft Week edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Get $2,000 off a new energy-efficient system now through May 31st. Call or visit aeheatingandcooling.com.
And this is why you don't want to play a Sean Payton team who has a young quarterback.
Draft Week with Danny and Dusty on 1080 The Fan.
Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty with you on this Tuesday afternoon. Thanks for being a part of our day, letting us be a part of yours on 1080 AM, 99.5 HD2, the Odyssey app, twitch.tv/1080 AM The Fan, or the party people on the YouTube stream, youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan. Sup, y'all? NFL Draft, 2 days away. We are just a hair over 48 hours from the NFL Draft.
51 hours, 55 minutes, and 28 seconds, according to the clock over your shoulder.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that. They're really counting this thing down on ESPN.
They really are.
It's a big day. It is a big day.
I mean, look, it's a tentpole day. Or tentpole days.
Right, all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
This
Which
year
shouldn't be
is
3 days.
such a weird day. Well, when you can make that money, you can make that money.
Three's
round
too much.
1. I like the round 1
alone
on a standalone.
Yes, but we can do 2 through 7 on day 2.
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
Yeah, I'm all right with it. It fills the TV all day on Saturday.
I guess.
You get to
I got playoff basketball, man. I'm good.
And see, you can just zone out.
Yeah.
Done. I'm out on that. I don't care. I'll get the alerts when somebody I care about.
Exactly. I'll get an alert when the Raiders draft somebody.
Yeah. So they kind of have an awareness of you don't have to be in on the draft if you don't want to be, but it's going to be there for the football junkies. And by golly,
We're in Green Bay this year?
Green Bay, Wisconsin. Yeah. Everybody gets a draft.
What's our weather like?
In Green Bay? Ooh, I'm going to say 55 early showers, overcast skies.
Oh my God. 56. 65% humidity. That's right now. I'm pulling up the 10-day right now. So the draft's in 3 days. So it starts with what?
It's Thursday.
Thursday?
Yeah.
30, 58, and cloudy.
Oh, 58 and cloudy.
There you go. Friday, 51 with AM showers.
Oh.
Saturday, 59, mostly sunny.
All right. Well.
But you've got 10, 11,
close.
17, and 19 mile-an-hour winds in the lead up. Remember Detroit last year was actually quite nice.
It was quite nice.
It's quite nice.
It was quite nice.
What did they say it was? It ended up being like over a
million people.
Good.
Million people.
There's not going to be a million people in Green Bay.
I don't think Green Bay can handle a million people.
No.
Could you imagine what would happen if a million people went to Green Bay, Wisconsin?
You mentioned it. Honestly, it'd be pretty similar to what a million people would do here.
Oh, that's a lot of ranch
Woodstock.
dressing there, don't you know?
Oh, don't you know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be close to that. No. Green Bay doesn't have the infrastructure for that.
Green
many
Bay's population is 105,000.
There's
So
no way.
smaller than Hillsboro and Beaverton.
Yeah. There's no way.
They got more land though.
No. There's no
Just
way.
land.
No.
Not
Strong no.
in Detroit. I'm talking
Not
about like the
Detroit.
city of Green Bay. Like there's more space, but like where do you stay?
Well, there's nowhere to stay. There's nowhere to put your car.
Yeah, I bet you if you own a restaurant or a bar in Green Bay, you're thrilled about this weekend.
Yeah, it's a good weekend.
It's
It's gonna be
packed
smaller
to the
though.
gills.
Oh yeah, nobody's getting a day off
yeah,
in
right?
Green Bay.
No,
It's like when I worked for the summer at Sun River, and
You're making those cheese curds all day.
when I worked for the summer at Sun River in college, and on the same day we had both the Crawfish Festival and Les Schwab's granddaughter's wedding.
Oh my gosh, what a day!
Nobody got the day off.
What a day that is.
Yeah,
Les Schwab's granddaughter's wedding.
it was busy.
was there free beef?
Dude, they had to have been. If you didn't get like a pepperoni stick in your
That's a
like
go box.
centerpiece, like it's on there. Yeah, they had
Yeah.
all those boxes. It was rare and ready to go.
Had the filet mignons in there,
Dude, it was so cool.
or as my little sister used to call them, flaming yawns.
Did they have?
She had no idea. She's like, "Why do they call it a flaming yawn?"
So, one of my buddy's wives.
I've never heard that one before. That's a
One of
good
my
one.
buddy's wives, who will remain nameless. She's a big Oregon State fan.
Mm.
She thought Ben Goldbranson, the old quarterback, she thought his name was Bengal Branson. Because everybody.
Well, look, that sounds like a Texas quarterback right
Yeah.
there. Louisiana quarterback.
If you say it like that's a name that everybody says his full name.
Yeah, you
Like they
you
don't
say
call him Ben
or
or they don't
Goldbranson.
call him Goldbranson. It was always Ben Goldbranson. And so she just thought it was Bengal Branson.
I mean,
Because it's just Bengal Branson. No, Ben Goldbranson.
I think I like Bengal Branson better.
Right?
Bengal Branson did some spaghetti westerns.
Dude, Bengal Branson, that guy strips on the weekends.
Yeah.
And slings that rock all the rest of the week. Anyways, draft is coming up. This year is so different from other drafts in that the top end talent just isn't there, and that's been widely discussed. But offensive line, defensive line,
Drenches.
very deep, but not deep with like the top end talent. Have you seen the number that has been going around for how many offensive linemen may be selected in the first round?
No.
We could see.
Let me guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you've got Campbell, Membu, and who's the other one in the top 10? God dang it.
Banks.
Banks, thank you. So those three will go in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a couple guys that have been rising. I'm going to go with 6.
Yeah. There's buzz out there. You could see 10
Good
offensive
God.
linemen drafted in the first round, all right? So you have Will Campbell of LSU, Armand Membu from Missouri, Texas's Kelvin Banks, okay? Those guys are consensus
Top
kind
10.
of lock guys, right? You have Alabama's Tyler Booker and North Dakota State's Gray Zabel, who have all been mocked in late first rounds.
Yeah, he's the one of the big risers over
Okay.
the last 2 weeks.
That gives you 5. A lot of buzz has been coming in for Josh Connerly of Oregon to slip into the first round. Ohio State tackle Josh Simmons. Ohio State guard Donovan Jackson. We're up to 8. Arizona guard Jonah Savainiana. And then you also have Georgia center Jared Wilson with an outside chance. That puts you at 10 of the top 32 picks in the NFL draft could be offensive
So
linemen.
Rutledge isn't in that group. That's interesting
No.
because he was a guy coming into the season. I know it's a guard. Guards typically aren't there unless you're the Quentin Nelson types where you're just like, yeah, no, this guy's a monster. But Rutledge was a guy that everybody kind of pegged as being the best lineman in this draft coming into this draft. And now he's not. So, okay.
But when you think about that, number is staggering, and it's
Yeah,
unlikely
good
that
Lord.
it'll happen because you're damn near at a third of the first round, right? Would be offensive linemen. But think of it in these terms, right? You don't have a bunch of top end talent, okay? You have depth in the trenches, and then what have the very good teams always done? They go offensive line late in the first round because you're sitting there going, all right, if the top end talent isn't there, the sexy pieces aren't there, where do you win?
Win in the trenches. And
If you look at what the Eagles have done.
Yeah. And
The Philadelphia Eagles are prime example number one. Look what the New England Patriots did for years. They would, if they stuck in the first round, they were either taking an edge rusher or an offensive lineman. Likely what they were going to do is trade back into the second round, still draft an offensive lineman. That would be a first round pick, but there was somebody sexy there sitting that they wanted to trade up for. That's what all of the great teams do.
it's what Seattle has kind of done, but they really failed to do in the grand scheme. I was reading some of the I think it was Mike Sean Dugar from The Athletic. Snyder has only drafted one Pro Bowl offensive lineman in his entire career in Seattle, and that was his very first draft.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was like, well, I mean, they did good with they took Cross and was it 3 years ago?
Abe Lucas,
which they're solid.
Yeah.
But I started thinking about it, and like, Philadelphia is obviously the gold standard of of drafting in the trenches over the last 8 years.
They have gone tackle, and then they went wide receiver, defensive tackle, outside linebacker, and then last year Quinyon Mitchell. But Nolan Smith, they went outside edge and linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
They love going down the road of
Big boys.
We're gonna get the big boys. Trenches are where you're gonna win. Offensive line is deeper this year. They do have a lot of. There's some loaded defensive tackles.
Oh, this is one of the better interior defensive line classes when you're talking about depth in a while. Like, yeah, Mason Graham obviously is that guy, but like, you go down the list and you're just like, so Jordan Birch is like a guy that could fall to the second, third round. And you're just like, but he's really good. And it's like, yeah, that's the point. Like, there's so much depth at that position. The guy that you could typically see higher might be a little bit later just because there's so many good interior tackles.
So this is going to be, it'll be interesting to see kind of where teams go. And if you look at what the needs are of those teams in the back end of that first round as well, right? Chiefs need to get better on the offensive line because they've just been getting as many weapons as they can for Patrick Mahomes. So, yeah, they need to bolster the offensive line. Steelers, right? If they're going to go probably defensive line if they don't go quarterback in that first round. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? They're probably going to go to the edge or defensive tackle there near the back end of the first round.
Coincidentally enough,
Texans are going to go O-line.
Every mock that I've looked at so far has the Seahawks taking Graves Abel.
Yeah. Well, offensive line.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to go O-line. It's the most important spot that you've got to fill out to make sure you're keeping your biggest investment upright. So there is this idea out there that we could see potentially 10 offensive linemen. And here's the other part about O-linemen. They are part of a unit.
Mm-hmm.
They are cheaper to re-sign, and you get them for that 5th year. We could see, week 10 seems egregious.
That does seem like a lot.
But
didn't we have a wide receiver draft where we had like nine wide receivers in the first round?
Well, last year we had a bunch of receivers taken in the first round. But I don't know if we've seen 9 in a first round. That's a lot.
Yeah, I could have swore we did. I think it was like 2017 or something like that. 2018. There's a draft in there pre-COVID where there was just this massive run on wide receivers. I feel like that's what year was N'Keal Harry? Is that 2019?
I think it might have been a little bit further than that.
2018?
Yeah.
Whatever draft that was, I feel like there was a metric crap ton of wide receivers in that draft.
He's now
a tight end.
He's playing in the CFL. Yikes, dog.
Yikes, dog. Yeah.
He was 2019 NFL draft. And then let's count up those receivers that they had there. I don't see very many receivers here.
Maybe I'm confusing that with another draft.
1, 2. There was only 2.
Okay, so it's not that draft.
Not that draft. Not that draft.
I'll find it during the break.
Yeah, we'll find. Well, wait, we can find that out. We can find that out real quickly. Last year we had a ton though. A ton. You may be thinking 2020, where there was a run that started with Henry Ruggs. Ooh.
Yeah.
You had Ruggs, Judy, CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Reagor,
That's what I was
Justin
trying to think
Jefferson,
of. It was Reagor.
Brandon Ayuk. So that's only 6. And then the top 2 picks of the second round were T. Higgins and Michael Pittman Jr.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So that was a pretty good one.
So the record, I just pulled it up. It's 7.
7?
It's Larry Fitzgerald draft, 2004.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Get ready for your offensive lineman, though.
Yeah.
Coming off the board, hot and heavy, very quick. All right. We got some fun with audio. Did Shaquille O'Neal try to kill a Blazers legend? Next on The Fan.
Check
All right, still to come on today's program, the highest paid athletes of all time. We've got some game twos tonight in the NBA. And then an Oregon Duck whose draft stock is sliding due to injury concerns. Bum, bum, bum. But we don't know what it is. And I, for the life of me, cannot figure out what it could be. But we have some fun with audio right now because Inside the NBA is a great show.
It is.
But they tried to kill Billy Ray Bates the other night.
It happens.
I don't think it does.
I mean, I think they've killed a few people, to be honest.
I don't think it does.
That's usually kind of a primetime thing.
Sunday, this conversation happened when they were talking about Ty Jerome coming off the bench for the with Cleveland Cavaliers and putting 28 points on the who did they play? Heat in game 1. Right above him on all-time bench performances in a playoff debut was Billy Ray Bates, who scored 29 points off the bench on April 2nd of 1980.
There you go.
He scored 29 off the bench against the Sonics in his playoff debut. And it led to this conversation.
Listen, man, I consider you a friend of mine, Nico Harrison. I consider you a friend of mine.
Not it.
I wish you nothing but the best.
This is not it. That is not it, my friend. That is not it. Well, I don't think that's the audio that I put on the old doc there. But
is it?
No, that's not it. Not sure what you grabbed.
Here, should we try this? Do you trust me?
No.
Okay.
Because the clip I sent you is 1 minute and 10 seconds, and that is 30.
This one is 1:13, and it's called Shaq Kills Off Billy Ray Bates.
Oh, well, okay, we're missing one other one then.
DeAndre Hunter did not score off the Cleveland bench in this one.
Billy Ray Bates was built like a truck. Yeah, I wonder if he's still alive. This is a fair question. No, not on national television.
Not unless you
under your breath.
Not unless you know the answer.
I don't know the answer. That's why I asked.
I know.
You don't say that.
You do not need to ask a question like that.
I'm sorry to hear that. Unfortunately, he passed away. Thank you, Shaq. I just asked a question. I wasn't trying to be whatever.
You ever heard of asking a question in a commercial break? Possibly.
We had his name on there. You ever heard of Koof? The word. You don't have any. I can't even ask questions. No, you can't ask that one. Okay, I'm sorry.
Social skills.
Oh, forgive me, y'all.
121-100 is your final score. The Cleveland Cavaliers take game 1 over the Miami Heat. Game 2 will be Wednesday on NBA TV.
You're gonna get us fired. Wait, that game on NBA TV?
Yeah,
and y'all go disrespecting my Cavs.
Cleveland has noticed it. Yeah, I've already seen what guys have said about NBA TV.
NBA TV disrespecting my Cavs.
Here's the problem. Shaq confidently said he's dead. Confidently said Billy Ray Bates is dead. Well, Ernie took to the TV yesterday.
And we welcome you back. We would like to issue a correction and an apology for something that happened last night on Inside the NBA. We were talking about Billy Ray Bates, who back in 1980 had one of the NBA's best playoff debuts coming off the bench with 29 points. In the course of our discussion, we passed on some bad information that Billy Ray Bates had passed away. While it was inadvertent, it was also inaccurate and insensitive and inexcusable. In short, we screwed up, and we apologize to Billy Ray Bates and his family.
What that did was I think more people started tweeting out RIP Billy Ray Bates after that than the initial Billy Ray Bates conversation that they had in the dead of night.
I thought maybe he was thinking like he confused like was it Billy D. Williams?
Oh, yes.
But also alive.
I know. Colt 45 works every time.
Billy D. Williams still alive?
Still alive. I just Googled just to make sure. So I was like, did he go during COVID? Because there's a whole list of people that died in that period, and I'm just like, I can't remember, man. But look, I will say, we play the game. Is he dead?
But
more frequently than we probably should.
It's the
The confidence with which Shaq was like, no, he's dead.
Shaq was just like, yeah, no, he's dead. And it's
I
like,
have a feeling Shaq was very confident that Billy Ray Bates died of like a cocaine overdose in like 1988
why do you feel that?
because he was so confident in him being gone.
Yeah.
And also that era.
Period. Yeah.
Yeah. Ernie with the dramatic apology, I feel like anytime somebody is killed off on this station, we need to have a dramatic apology.
There you go. We got it
immediately following
Yes.
it.
Come back to the next segment.
Yeah. And that, by the way, that was the entire segment. They went commercial, Ernie, back to commercial, and Billy Ray Bates was back to being alive. So, hey, Blazers legend, Billy Ray Bates, very much alive.
Somebody's not doing their work
Very much alive.
if they don't go get him. Like, put him on camera. Proof of life, this.
Yeah.
Somebody wherever he's living.
Now, did he respond like I'm alive?
I haven't seen anything.
Huh. Obviously, somebody got to him.
Yeah.
And they were not happy with Shaq and Chuck killing off Billy Ray Bates. I think Chuck was fine in this.
Yeah.
Chuck was just asking a question like, is he alive?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But I don't know.
Look, if you played during the 70s and 80s, I think it's a fair question to ask because you're probably in your late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, and by the way, there's a picture of Billy Ray Bates on the internet. It's put together still.
Yeah.
And Billy Ray Bates was out of the NBA by the time Chuck got in.
Oh, God.
Because his last season in the NBA was 82-83. Billy Ray Bates.
So, yeah, I mean,
he played from 78 to 83.
He was a white hot flash in the pan.
Yeah, you ain't wrong.
Kind of faded away pretty quick.
Yeah, averaged over his career 11 points, 1.7 rebounds, 1.9 assists, 0.8 steals in his career.
Fan text line. Carl Withers dead. Billy D. Williams alive.
No, I don't.
Yeah, Carl Withers.
Carl Withers
yeah.
is dead. Yeah. Yeah. Carl Weathers dead. Billy D. Williams alive.
That's why Carl Weathers is not in Happy Gilmore 2.
He will be.
In
up
memoriam.
in the sky.
Yeah.
Chubbs is going to be up in the sky with Grandma. They've got to be.
And
They already have like him waving as a ghost from the first one.
get the rights.
Yeah, well, he died in the first one.
Yeah, see? It'd be a lot weirder if he was
but
back.
Yeah,
But I
well,
mean,
it would be
in the
weirder if he
story-
was in there.
But not really. It was just in the story.
He'll be in Happy Gilmore 2 waving from the sky. I believe.
It's all in the hips.
Somebody else is gonna die in Happy Gilmore 2, and it's gonna be like just like superimposed over.
Tell me
that.
it's Ben Stiller.
Wow.
Well, he was very mean in that.
Yeah.
He's in
the
it.
nursing home
Yeah,
employee. I know
push-
he's in it.
The
Yeah.
he's
AC
in it.
unit falling on him would be a fitting conclusion.
Yeah.
Mista.
I think I killed the Mista lady. Yeah, I've seen that he is in Happy Gilmore 2. I don't know. Now, here's where it'll be interesting. If Carl Weathers is in like the cast right now, like when you go to their IMDb page, then we know he's going to be credited at some point
Yeah.
for being in it. But they got everybody back, man. They got
They don't have
Ben Stiller,
I'll
Julie
see
Bowen,
you after the guy because he's
Christopher
dead.
McDonald. Yeah, well, he's dead. Nail in the head guy.
Yeah.
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 Jaws from James Bond.
Yeah.
I forget
Yeah.
which James Bond movie, but
Nick Swardson is in it. Eminem and Bad Bunny are in it. Paige Spiranek, Rory McIlroy, Travis Kelce, Lee Trevino. Oh, Lee Trevino's back.
Yes.
Jack Nicklaus
Just
is in it.
shaking his head disgustingly.
Bryson DeChambeau.
was that pre or post like reverse heel turn?
It's probably right about that time.
Oh, John Daly.
Oh God,
boy.
yes.
He's gonna play like Santa Claus or something, isn't he?
No, he's gonna play John Daly.
John Daly playing himself. Brooks Koepka is in it. Will Zalatoris.
Yes.
The caddy.
Jordan Spieth, Scotty Scheffler, Ricky Fowler. Boy, they got Justin Thomas. There's a lot of golfers in this.
I bet you that there's a 9th at 9 situation with John Daly.
Yeah. Keegan Bradley is in it. As Keegan Bradley. He's going to be the new Bob Barker who beats up Happy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Ooh, is he gonna have that killer? If I remember correctly, he's got a killer stash lately.
No,
Keegan
Drew
Bradley
Carey, though,
does. like a fantastic caterpillar right on his top lip.
I do not see Drew Carey.
That's disappointing. Going to that well again would have been
Dude,
great.
I'll tell you what. Every golfer is on this. Xander Schauffele. Dude.
Well, they did have 1 billion golfers in the first one, too.
Yeah. Well,
Shooter's back, right?
Shooter McGavin is going to be back.
And is Julie Bowen back, too?
Welcome to the conversation. Those were the first 2 people I named.
All right, Cleo. Hey.
Ron, are you paying attention? Nope.
All right. This is a long way to say Billy Ray Bates still alive.
I'm gonna sit the rest of this one out.
All right.
That's fantastic. All right. Coming up with the worst day on the web. Child Fight Club? Yeah, it's a thing. But first, here's Jeff Russ with the Sports Zone Update.
I hate you guys so much.
This is Draft Week with Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Ada White Hawaiian Restaurant. Mixed plates like Grandma used to make. If your grandma were from the Big Island, Woodstock, Burnside, Beaverton, or online at ate-oh-ate.com. First on the Fan, a trio of Game 2s tonight in the Association's playoffs. First up, 4 o'clock on NBA TV, Damian Lillard says he'll play tonight as the Bucks try to even the series in Indianapolis. The Pacers are 4-point favorites. Then in the first half of TNT's doubleheader, after a 51-point win in Game 1, the Thunder 14.5-point favorites over the Grizzlies. That tip is at 4:30. And then that'll be followed by the Lakers trying to salvage a split at home in Los Angeles. 6-point favorites hosting the Timberwolves. ESPN's Peter Schrager reporting the Browns and Giants fielding calls for their picks near the top of Thursday's round 1 of the NFL draft. The Browns have the number 2 overall pick, while the Giants hold number 3. The targets look to be Colorado two-way star Travis Hunter, Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter, or Boise State running back Ashton Genty. And the Mariners wrap up their road trip with a 3-game set at the Red Sox starting this afternoon. Bryce Miller on the bump for Seattle, Brian Bello for Boston. 3:45 first pitch on Root Sports. The Mariners are 12-10 and start the day a game back of the Rangers for the AL West lead. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Russ from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The inside story on the Blazers, Ducks, and Beavers. Danny and Dusty. Weekdays noon to 3 on the Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check the GPS directions first before driving to the mall.
Turn right at the light. In 1,000 miles, you will reach Montreal.
Not Montreal, the mall.
Recalculating. 6,000 miles to Nepal.
No, the mall.
Checking first is smart.
Recalculating.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Your life, your goals, your legacy. With a dedicated Fidelity advisor, it's all part of a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE, SIPC.
Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts. Offer in-store only. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm George McCoy with the Warren Allen Attorneys at Law. Finally, winter's over, and we're starting to thaw. Just because spring has sprung doesn't mean spring driving is fun. It will rain on your parades as drivers drive with worn wiper blades. Some are swerving because they're allergic to grass. Watch out for others that are really hauling
It's time for today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
That sucks.
Oh, this is a Dusty Harris submission. This is out of Jonesboro, Arkansas.
You want to know what's funny? When we were in Mexico, met a group of people who were from Jonesboro. That's where Arkansas State is. Those folks like to party. One of them...
Red Wolves?
Yeah, Red Wolves. Yeah.
What else are you going to do?
They like to party, and they were... boy, I'll tell you what. This story, after talking to them, I was like, I could see it. They were great people. Loved hanging out with them.
You've got a friend who just moved to Arkansas. I know. I have some friends that are from Arkansas. They are. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
They like to have their fun. A lot of hog shooting. A lot of hog shooting down there. That's it's unlimited hogs.
Yeah, they're an invasive species.
So they just go out there, like, this is going to get so off the rails here real quick. There are chartered hunts you can do in Arkansas where you can take a Little Bird helicopter with a fully automatic rifle and night vision.
I had a buddy who did this for his bachelor party. And it was in Texas, though.
Oh, in Texas? Yeah, but you can, because their hogs are so overwhelming, there is no number.
Yeah.
But you can throw night vision goggles on with a 249, like if you're a military guy, or if you recognize the movies, 249 is the SAW.
Yeah.
The squad assault weapon. And it's a belt-fed monster, and you can sit up there and heat that barrel up till it's white hot, killing hogs.
Yeah.
That's what they do in Arkansas. You know what else they do in Arkansas? Kid Fight Club.
Yeah, this is a thing. And my favorite part, did you see the name of the school?
Yeah, oh, yeah, no, it's a fantastic name. It's a fantastic name. The Delta Institute for the Developing Brain and the Engage Program. TDIDBE.
Yeah. So, the police arrested 4 people, including the director of the school.
The ringleader of a makeshift child fight club.
It was apparently there was a 30-minute incident where you have like teachers pairing up kids to fight, and video was taken of it where the teacher was instructing the students to hit each other in the privates area.
What's the first rule of Fight
What?
Club?
This is like, first of all, wild to think that they're like, yeah, no, get them in the junk. Absolutely abhorrent. Like, this is the worst of the worst of people.
Again, Arkansas.
Yeah.
There's some hillbilly tendencies here. Look, and again, not the same thing. Overseas, we had our animal fight clubs.
Yeah.
Where we would take camel spiders and scorpions and pit them in fights.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You put them in a matchbox or inside of a box, and then you put them in a pit, and you see what happens.
But
they may or may not have been betting on that.
Here's the deal. It was basically like all of their employees were in on, and what I don't know, and this is going to come out, is that were they like wagering?
That's what I was saying. I want to see the video.
Were they betting on these kids fighting?
Why else are you going to do it?
Well, I mean, look.
I mean, you're not, but you're not wrong. Like that attitude right there is like,
no, you
probably how this
stream it on the
happened.
dark web.
Dude,
get the influx of payments in. Like, look, the Spartans used to throw their babies off a cliff if they didn't think they were worthy enough. So this isn't that far from that.
Yeah, man. It just, the lady who is the ringleader, the director of the school, she also has a name that is like, it's only because of the movie Ted. It's alarm bells are just ringing. Mary Tracy Morrison.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, remember when they're going through the girls that are red flag names?
Yeah, it was Mary, Tammy.
Yeah, well, Tracy was one of them. And then it's Tammy Lynn, Amber Lynn, like anything with Lynn.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mary Tracy Morrison. That is that's a name that gives you that You know, and it's only because of the movie Ted.
Yeah, and she's out of central casting for what you would imagine. Honestly, all these people are. If you're wondering, the ringleader is currently being held on a $250,000 bond.
That is pretty big. I mean, I would assume
That means they got the goods.
I would assume in order to get the, first of all,
it's 10% for bail, right?
In order for her to start that school.
Yes, but I only know that because of Law and Order.
Yeah.
In order for her to start that school, she's probably had to clear several background checks.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like a first-time offender. They're going, no, you're not going to get off lightly on this one. That's a hefty bail.
It is. Everybody else got hit with, I should say everybody else. One of them, there's 4. One of them got 100,000 and 2 others got 10,000.
Dang.
But did any of them get hit in the junk?
No.
Just the kids?
Yeah, well, yeah, instructed by other kids. Yeah.
Fan text line. I didn't even need to wait to hear it. I knew Danny would mildly defend this.
Yeah. Well,
look, there's an economy for everything.
I wonder how many times that this has happened, though.
Oh, I mean, this is not the only time.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, this is just one of the ones that we heard about.
And again,
and one, I would be like, that'd be so furious if I'm sending my kid to this place, right?
Oh, there'd be a fight club, all right.
Yeah.
If I found out my kid was put in a fight club,
like,
buddy.
Yeah, would not be a student fight club, though.
No, there'd be a fight club, all right.
Those are...
Guess what? I might not look like much, but...
Those are like, I mean, you're talking, they're in the early stages of this investigation, and they're already like, yeah, I mean, we have video of it that went public, so we kind of know.
How is it that you go about replacing basically like 80% of a school staff?
Well, here's the crazy thing.
Like this.
So the attorney for the defense, they argue that the affidavit failed to provide evidence of actual physical injury to the victim and argued that the charge of permitting abuse of a minor be amended.
Yeah, so
they're not
going
saying
to try
it
to
didn't
get
happen.
The technicality here.
Yeah.
They're saying, well, nobody really got hurt. It's like, dude, you organized a fight club for children, which... Look, I bet there's a lot of elementary and primary teachers that are like, I wish at some point.
Oh, God,
but nobody.
Thin out the herd?
Well, you don't do any. The intrusive thoughts should not win.
I had this conversation with my wife the other day.
Don't
about
let it happen.
Intrusive thoughts.
Yeah.
And look, you guys are probably different from me, but anytime I see my wife incredibly comfortable on the couch, like too comfortable, I have to go over and bother her. Not every time. Not every time. And I explained to her, I go, there's so many times I see you on the couch all comfortable with the puppies and you're watching your shows. And I think it'd be really funny if I just went over there and like smushed her into the couch or tickled her. And I go,
hold on. Smushed her into the couch?
Yeah, just go lay on top of her.
No way. Just, hey, breathe into this pillow.
Yeah.
Hey, this rag smell like chloroform?
Yeah. And I go,
this is my not surprised face.
I go, I do it maybe one out of every like 10, 15 times. And she was like, what? And I was like, the intrusive thoughts. They're there all the time.
Yeah.
And that's Danny holding back on them.
And it is.
You're like, here I am sitting here thinking I'm going to get applauded for this. And now I'm the bad guy?
I'm thinking I'm the good guy for only doing it one out of every 10, 15 times where it crosses my mind.
Come on. Like, Deal is in. He
says, see, yep.
The school is running a fight club. Your kid is 5-0. Can you be mad at that point? If they're winless, maybe. Yeah, yes, I'd still be.
You got the kid that's in the 99th percentile of the growth scale, and
I would still
you got Igor out there.
I would still be upset, but how does this video go public?
It takes a little bit of the sting away.
I can't believe you. I mean, hey, good job. Good job. I can't believe you.
If you were to ask me like how this actually goes public, I would say that somebody probably lost a wager and got upset, and that's how this ends. And that's how this ended. You know, like how other than that, the kids are not going home and talking about fight clubbing at school. Like, that's the wild part too. It's like, hey, how was your day at school? Well, good. You know, I took out Russ today.
Where the
rear naked chokehold? Dad made him tap. It's like, what? Huh?
Just, hey, Dad, guess what? I used the figure 4 leg lock that you showed me last week.
Well, teacher Mary Tracy told me to go for the private. It's like, how does this... How did these morons think that this was going to be something that they were like, you know what, we could do this?
I feel like that's the part we're sleeping on the most here is that telling them to go after the privates.
Yes.
Just, I mean, the Fight Club alone is abhorrent enough.
Yes.
But then you had on top of it, go for the privates.
I was trying to remember where they're from. The what has now become like the first family of UFC, the Khabib's family.
Mm-hmm.
They're all from Dagestan. Imagine if you have like this school, and like that family is a part of this school.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not going well for your kid.
You know what I mean? Like, oh God.
Yeah.
Because like they're all just fighting freaks, and I mean that in like the most glorious manner. Like that family is like they are like modern day Spartans reborn. They are disgusting. Everything that they do, they are unbelievably good at in the ring. But like, imagine if you had like one of those families. Like, would they be mad?
No, I think they started the Delta Force, whatever this school is called.
The Delta Force School.
Delta Force School of Fighting. But instead, they named it the Delta Institute for Brain Growth and Progress.
It sounds a lot like for the school for kids who can't read good. It has the same vibes.
Yeah, and that UFC parent owns an LLC called Expendables LLC.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I'd like, you know what? I'm going to Google address this school just to try to see
the neck of the woods it's in.
Yeah, just see, get a lay of the land.
Are we in the Ozarks here?
Oh, no.
No?
No.
Okay.
No.
My geography familiarity with Arkansas is not that high.
Well, now Jonesboro, I believe, is also quite famously known for something else, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think it's the same one.
No, different Jonesboro?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy. It's straight out of Central Casting.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking.
Yeah, it's straight out of Central Casting. It's northwest of Memphis.
Yeah. Yeah. You're close to Memphis.
Yeah.
Boy.
You're in the northern tip, as it were, of Arkansas.
No, don't be mean.
Oh, buddy. Did you Google Maps this?
Yeah, I did.
Did you see what we're dealing with?
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of Delta Institutes in the area. I cannot find the one for the developing brain.
The center has to be at least 3 times this size.
Yeah. Wow. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, noted, do not try to start a child fight club wherever you are.
Or if you do, don't film it.
Danny.
Well, why else are you going to try to start one up?
Rust.
Live stream to the dark web.
Who are you
VPNs
guys?
only.
Golly.
Be smarter about being a criminal.
Oh, man. All right.
It is what it is.
Here we are.
That's our worst day on the web. Coming up next, we have a trade in college football. Dan and Dusty, 1080 The Fan.
It's back.
We have a trade, kind of, in college football. Don't normally see this one, but the
normally this is the first time ever, man.
The curious case of how much money can I get from Nico Iamaleava going from Tennessee. You're trying to bump his pay up to $4 million. Wasn't going to happen at Tennessee. Goes to UCLA and got $900,000. Well, now UCLA's quarterback, who's the former App State quarterback, is transferring to Tennessee. Joey Aguilar is going to transfer from UCLA to Tennessee. Nico from Tennessee to UCLA. Also, Nico's brother Madden is also transferred to UCLA.
Well, okay, those are two separate things there. But Joey Aguilar going from App State to UCLA, where he thought he was going to be the starter, and he transferred in December.
Mm-hmm.
That was a done deal. This is why we're bringing you in. And Joey Aguilar was good at App State.
Yes.
Like, he has multiple passing records at Appalachian State. Now you look at him in just this past year at App State. What is it? He threw for 3,000 yards, completed 56% of his passes. Year before, 3,700 yards, 33 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Like, he's not a bad quarterback by any stretch. And he ends up getting ousted because Deshaun Foster's like, you know what I'm going to do? I got my guy, and it's Nico. So Nico goes from Tennessee to UCLA. UCLA's quarterback goes from Brentwood to Knoxville. It's the first ever trade of quarterbacks. We did it. We did it.
It feels like we've gotten close to this, but we never actually had it happen.
No, not in this short of order either. Like, this is really quick on the turnaround and all this. But you have both of them got what they wanted. And look, Tennessee.
Joey really got what he wanted.
Yeah, Tennessee, they're getting a dude. They're getting a dude. Is he Nico? No, but you know what? He's experienced. Two-year starter.
That might matter more.
You have him for 2 years to play because he went to a community college before that. And this is a guy who he wanted to be at UCLA because he's a California kid. He's from Northern California. And you get him where you have experience under his belt. You know he can be an efficient passer. He's seen a lot of football, and you can just plug in, play him. He's not undersized either. He's 6'3". He's got a good arm on him. It's all right. And now for UCLA, they don't just get Nico. They got his brother, too. You mentioned Madden. He transferred from Arkansas to UCLA. I remember we had Eric Ainge on the other day when we were talking about Nico, and he was like, it's a weird fit there because Madden was committed to UCLA for the longest time, flips on signing day to UCLA, goes to Arkansas, and he's only there for a couple of months. Early enrollee, already out, and he's at UCLA. This family may have gotten both their kids to UCLA. They have botched this at every turn.
Yes.
Every single turn. They have done everything that you do not do in the recruiting process.
And this is where I kind of get to that same point in general about this is the market playing out.
Yeah.
And I like, everybody talks about, well, what about those bad actors? Well, the bad actors ended up in the worst place. Like, we've seen this now with him. We've seen it with Jaden Rashada. Like,
if I'm a UCLA fan, I don't know if I feel good about where we're going.
I don't.
You know, like, that team was better than what we thought they were going to be, especially after Big Ten Media Days and the press conference that Foster had. And
we're in LA.
They fought all year long, and they put up some really good fights over the course of the season. But if this is the way you're going to go,
it's a lot of desperation.
It is.
It's a lot of desperation.
It is.
All right, let's keep it in the football world. In the NFL draft, as ESPN is telling you, it's coming up. It's 51 hours away.
No way.
It's pure smokescreen season, and boy, are the takes flying. We'll get to that next here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. Danny Meringue here. It's springtime, the best time to get to
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust with your Sports Center update. First on The Fan, a trio of Game 2s tonight in the NBA playoffs. First up, 4 o'clock on NBA TV, Damian Lillard says he will play tonight as the Bucks try to even the series in Indianapolis. The Pacers still, though, 4-point favorites. Then in the first half of TNT's doubleheader, after a 51-point win in Game 1, the Thunder only 14.5-point favorites over the Grizzlies. That tip is at 4:30. And then that's followed by the Lakers trying to salvage a series split at home. 6-point favorites hosting the Timberwolves. The Mariners wrap up their road trip with a 3-game set at the Red Sox starting this afternoon. Bryce Miller starting for Seattle, Brian Bello for Boston. 3:45 first pitch on Root Sports. The Mariners 12-10 on the season. They start the day a game back of the Rangers for the AL West lead. And ESPN's Peter Schrager reporting the Browns and Giants fielding calls for their picks near the top of Thursday's round 1 of the NFL draft. The Browns have the number 2 overall pick, while the Giants hold number 3. The targets look to be Colorado two-way star Travis Hunter, Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter, or Boise State running back Ashton Genty. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Live, local, and free. No subscription required. Portland's sports leader is 1080 The Fan. This week is about cheese curds and borrowing the neighbor kid's bicycle.
What's up, Red? Thanks for the fight.
This is a Draft Week edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Get $2,000 off a new energy-efficient system now through May 31st. Call or visit aeheatingandcooling.com.
Excuse my Wisconsin mouth, but why the heck are you not drinking, for Christ's sake?
Draft Week with Danny and Dusty on 1080 The Fan.
Hour number 3 here on Danny and Dusty on a Tuesday afternoon.
That's right.
Tuesday. We're listening on 1080 AM, watching along on youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan or twitch.tv/1080 AM The Fan. We appreciate you. We love you. And what are you sad about?
Dude, I just saw this. Mike Patrick, the former NFL college football play-by-play guy, Sunday Night Football when it was on ESPN.
Yeah.
He died. He's 80 years old. Mike Patrick. R.I.P., man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's a voice of... It's a voice of the times. I remember him and Theismann doing Thursday Night Football or Sunday Night Football together on ESPN. That's crazy.
How old is he?
He's old. He's 80. He's 80 years old. R.I.P. R.I.P. Mike Patrick.
Yeah, 80 seems really old, and then you'd think it wouldn't seem as old as you get older, but then I'm sitting here like, that's literally twice as old as me.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm like,
that
oh,
is.
damn.
Man.
Well, and then I'm sitting here realizing that this year my dad's going to turn 75.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It happens. Age.
Yeah. His color commentators included Lee Corso. Yeah.
There you go.
Damn.
Speaking of Lee. Still alive.
Still alive. Still alive.
He'll be 90.
Kicking. Yeah, August 7th, I think he turns 90.
Oh, speaking of talking dates.
Yeah. What we got?
The NFL draft coming up in a couple of days. 51 hours now. And it's
you love that countdown clock. I like that countdown clock.
I mean, it's pretty egregious, but it's there. It's prominent. It's seemingly there on almost every show. But it is the biggest smokescreen take season imaginable. We had the Raiders GM Spytek talking about how they're targeting a running back, but they'd be open to a quarterback.
A GM named Spytek during smokescreen season is boy.
Really
hammering that home.
Hollywood would be like, nah, it's a little too on the nose. We can't do that.
There's no way he could have hired Bill Belichick to be his coach. The guy behind Spygate working for Spytek. No, that sounds like an evil firm if I've ever heard one.
I mean, Spytek sounds like the rival spy firm in basically anything, and I love that.
Yeah,
Terminator 2.
But they put it out there like, oh, we'd be open to taking a quarterback. Meanwhile, quarterbacks are heating up the discussion board, and one of them is Jalen Milroe, who there was a highlight reel about a month ago. We talked about this off air. The entire highlight reel was him running.
Yeah.
not throwing the ball. And it was a tongue-in-cheek highlight reel because Jalen Milroe, while he has an absolute howitzer attached to his shoulder, you never know where the hell it's going to end up. And one of the lines coming out of this is from Tom Pelissero. He says the Jalen Milroe comps are that he's a better runner than Lamar Jackson.
No, this is what they're saying, and this just needs to stop because they're comping him to Lamar. But what they're saying is that, no, he's better. He's more electric than Lamar Jackson with the ball in his hands.
Then make him a running back.
My thing, Jalen Milroe is fascinating for me because you look at his raw numbers and you go, dang, he completed 66% of his passes in 2023. He completed 64% of his passes in 2024. When you watch him play, though, that is where you go, boy, I don't see it in the NFL.
Tape don't lie.
Because you have to take a few things into consideration. His offensive line was really damn good. His skill guys were loaded. And Kalen DeBoer, especially this past year, he had a quarterback whisperer as his head coach. And DeBoer's system, his style, everything is geared towards the quarterback. And the accuracy, you can sit there and you can look at the numbers and be like, no, he's pretty accurate, right? 66 and 64% completion percentage, really damn good. But you watch him play and you go, no, he holds onto the ball for way too long. He wants to run before he wants to throw.
And his misses are egregious.
They're pretty bad. But at the same time, he wasn't like this turnover merchant.
No.
But last year, 16 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. That's a problem.
That's a run-of-the-mill quarterback.
And I don't see it with Jalen Milroe. I understand he has strong arm. Teams, and this is the thing with GMs and coaches, I can fix him. They're like that girl at the bar who just is always like, I can fix him. I know he's got a bad rap, but no, you can't always fix him.
He is a fantastic athlete. Like the unbelievable athlete.
And he's built to be positionally dynamic, right? He's 6'2", over 200 pounds, right? He's got a good frame on him. He can take hits. Those are things you don't worry about. But the idea of teams falling in love with him enough to trade into the first round, which there are some rumors that could happen, I just don't see that. I would rather take the 27-year-old Tyler Shuck, who also has the ability to run, is a big frame guy, very strong arm, and has questionable accuracy at times.
Did you see the clip floating around of him of the Will Levis interception that he had? Scrambles to the right, and he's not being taken to the ground, and he underhand loops it like playing 500.
Yeah, that,
and it was like, what in the hell was that?
See, with coaching, you can break a guy from that.
Yeah,
but one thing about Tyler Shuck is in rhythm, he can get the ball out really damn quickly. He can panic under pressure, but he's athletic enough to create after that. With Milroe, it is much harder to break a guy from holding on, not being a quick processor and getting the ball out very quickly than it is to say, hey, dude, live to play another down. Don't throw the ball up in the air. Okay? Don't do the Will Levis interception. Stop that, right? That's easier to do than, hey, you need to be a fraction of a second faster, or that's the difference in the NFL between a pick six and a 15-yard completion, right? That is the big, and that to me is where I go, oof, somebody's going to fall in love with the athleticism and they're going to take a flyer on him. And you know what? Somebody should, not in the first round though, and definitely not trading back into the first round to get him.
Now, coming up next, we'll get to a few more news and notes and smoke screens and teams that want to jump and a player that's falling down rapidly. Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. Well, we've talked about the Las Vegas Raiders and their likelihood to go out and draft Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty. Tom Pelissero is claiming that both the Bears and the Cowboys are teams to monitor to jump up to the number 5 position, to jump in front of the Raiders because they believe the Raiders will take Jeanty, to take Jeanty then at 5. And if you look at the Bears bringing over Ben Johnson, I mean, what does Ben Johnson want? He wants a better offensive line. He wants a stable running game. He wants to have the ability to be multiple, but also work and play action. And if you don't have the offensive line and you don't have the running game to back that up, which the Detroit Lions did in spades, they have, if not the best offensive line, the second best offensive line in football behind the Eagles. And they have an incredible backfield that allowed Jared Goff to be able to do what he could do.
Well, and remember what Chicago did this offseason. They go out and they got the number 1 center in free agency in Drew Dahlman.
Mm-hmm.
They went and they got Joe Tooney from the Kansas City Chiefs, Jonah Jackson they got from the Rams with in a trade for a 6th-round pick. They've tried to bolster that offensive line. You already have Rome Odunze, you have DJ Moore, and your tight end at Cole Kmet is above average at tight end. If you can get a running back that isn't just above average, a dude, all of a sudden you have given Caleb Williams every single weapon he could want, right? He's got 2 really damn good receivers. You give him that running back and all
a play caller that makes sense.
And with Ben Johnson, one thing that we know and something that we've seen is that the creativity with his back out is second to none. The thing I love about Ashton Jeanty the most is not just his ability to make guys miss, run through tackles. The versatility that he has for being an undersized back, height-wise, they would put him out and split him outside receiver to try to create mismatches where they would go in that Boise State. Ideally, they fit the same way that Ben Johnson calls plays, right? Where how can we create the biggest mismatch, right? You go in a doubles set. DJ Moore is in the slot and Ashton Jeanty is out on the numbers. One of 2 things is going to happen. You are going to either bump a safety out on Ashton Jeanty and put the corner in an uncomfortable spot with more field than he's used to defending out towards the numbers, okay? And then you have a viable and reliable route runner in Ashton Jeanty. They tried to do this 2 times against the Ducks, and Oregon bumped out a linebacker both times. One time, Bryce Betcher jammed him so hard he couldn't even get off the line of scrimmage. Gave him, I think it was at like 4 yards, kind of gave him that chuck out of bounds. The other time, Devin Jackson had to run him down and make an incredible play on a perfectly thrown ball. But he is a guy that you can trust him to split him out. You can put him in the slot, motion him around. He's got versatility that I don't think he gets enough credit for just because of how jaw-dropping he is when he has a ball in his hands between the tackles and when he gets outside into the open field.
It's very interesting that Jeanty has kind of become this swing point in the draft, and I think the reason for that is teams are putting it out there that Shedeur Sanders is not that guy, and despite his father's pushes to honestly, I think this played into Shedeur Sanders getting his number retired. Is keeping him front page prominent leading up to the draft because he knew, because the feedback that Deion Sanders is likely getting from the league that's not really becoming public until now, Shedeur might not make it or might not be drafted in the first round.
A lot of folks in the draft evaluation process, if we remember to the beginning of last season, they said he's a 2nd-round grade. He's a guy that has a 2nd-round grade. And he had a great year. And this is the thing about Shedeur is that Shedeur gets so much unfair criticism because of what his last name is. And he is a good quarterback. He is not a guy that would be drafted in the top 5 of any other draft.
No.
And there's this idea prevailing throughout, and Adam Schefter had a report where he just broke it all down on what all of the teams that are quarterback needy are thinking of Shedeur Sanders. And Tom Pelissero kind of piggybacked off of that report with reporting of his own that, look, man, the Giants aren't completely sold on him, even though, and they've spent the most time with him. They've gone out to Colorado all the time. They went to his showcase day. They invited him last Thursday. He was in New York working out for them. They're sitting at 3. But there's this idea that not everybody is sold in the building on Shedeur Sanders, especially when you get guys that in a top heavy draft where there's like 6 guys, you'd be giving up one of those 6 guys to go and get a Shedeur Sanders. So there's this idea that, well, if we don't take him then, that bumps all the quarterback needy teams down a little bit further, right? So you look at quarterback needy teams, Giants, Saints, Steelers. The Rams have been reported to be one of those teams that would be eyeing a quarterback. If you don't take Shedeur at 3, then you're in that, all right, is there that big of a gap between Jackson Dart, Tyler Shuck, Jalen Milroe, if you want to put him in there, and Shedeur Sanders? I think that there is a sizable gap between Shedeur and Jalen Milroe, but I don't think that gap is quite as large with Jackson Dart, and then it's a little bit larger with Tyler Shuck. But you are still in a position where it's like, all right, we got Russ, we got Jameis. We have the ability to kind of sit back and say, okay, we don't have to go all in right now, right? And we can be a little bit more patient. So Giants aren't sold at 3. Saints seem to be interested in a quarterback at 40 from local reporting down in New Orleans. And now the national guys are like, dude, it's smokescreen season, so we have no idea what they're going to do. But they may be cooling on Shedeur and a quarterback period at 9, having that same line of thinking of, all right, if quarterbacks just get pushed down the board, okay, we're all right with that. Let's take the best player that we can because we have other holes. That means that the Steelers at 21 could be in an advantageous spot to get the second best quarterback in this draft, and they need one in the baddest way possible.
One way or the other. They said, hey, we have 2 quarterbacks on the roster right now. We're going to go into camp with 4, and we'll address that however we need to, whether that's signing Aaron Rodgers, whether that's in the draft, whether that's going after Sam Howell because the Seahawks have made him available. Like whatever you go down. Like we've talked about this as it pertains to me specifically, as it pertains to the Raiders. My dream scenario 2 months ago was that the Raiders take the best player available at where they are, and then if there's a quarterback that made sense at 37, which at the time I was like, hey, look, if Jackson Dart's there, hell yeah. Does this put the Raiders as a potential team? Because they're flagging that they would take it. Look, and they should. Look, Geno is a stopgap quarterback.
Yep.
But if one of Jackson Dart or Shedeur Sanders is available at 37, sign me up. Sign me up on like Shedeur Sanders is a second-round pick because you talk about bringing in Tom Brady and the relationship that Brady has with Shedeur already, and the Raiders have done not only their top 30 visit with Shedeur, but they went out and saw him multiple times as well. I don't think they're entirely sold on him, but if you're telling me that the Raiders take the best possible player available at 6, and then one of Dart or Shedeur at 37, I'm going, all right.
I don't think you're going to see it there.
I don't either.
I feel like what we are going to have is, because think of it in these terms, right? If Travis Hunter goes to Cleveland is signaling everything that they want to get a quarterback. They're at 33. The Giants are 34. All this means is that the teams at the back end of that first round are salivating, going, all right, well, if you're the Chiefs at 31 or the Eagles at 32 or, hell, the Bills at 30, you're going...
A team that wants to move up?
What's the difference in the Bills at 30 and, being the first pick or second pick of the second round?
I'll tell you this, they better not trade with the freaking Chiefs. It's not worked out well for them.
Yeah, well, the Raiders?
No,
yeah,
the Bills and the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah, no. But no, those two teams go 30 and 31, and if you're the Browns or the Giants or the Raiders sitting at 37, you're sitting there going, we need to get a quarterback. There's going to be a run if they don't go in the top of that second round. It's going to go at the end of that first round and trading up and going to get a guy. So the quarterback market is going to be interesting. We're entering this draft with now 50 and a half hours before the draft. This is the longest that we've ever been with every team holding their first round pick still. That I feel is going to change on draft day.
Back end of that first. Yeah.
Back end of the first, we're going to see quarterbacks going off the board because they're all jockeying for that position.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of intrigue, I think, in this draft because of the jockeying and everything else that kind of goes with that. All right, coming up next, we're going to pivot back to the NBA playoffs. We've covered the games that happened last night. Let's look ahead to the games tonight on the docket. But first, here's Big Jeff Rush with the Sports Center Update.
This is Draft Week with Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Big Jeff Rust with your Sports Center update. First on The Fan, a trio of Game 2s tonight in the association's playoffs. First up, 4 o'clock on NBA TV, Damian Lillard says he will play tonight as the Bucks try to even the series in Indianapolis. The Pacers, though, are 4-point favorites in the first half of TNT's doubleheader. After a 51-point win in Game 1, the Thunder are only 14.5-point favorites over the Grizzlies. That tip is at 4:30, and then that'll be followed by the Lakers trying to salvage a split at home against the Timberwolves. LA are 6-point favorites. The Mariners wrapping up their road trip with a 3-game set at the Red Sox starting this afternoon. Bryce Miller on the bump for Seattle, Brian Bello for Boston. 3:45 first pitch on Root Sports. And ESPN's Peter Schrager reporting the Browns and Giants fielding calls for their picks near the top of Thursday's first round of the NFL Draft. The Browns have the number 2 overall pick, while the Giants hold number 3. The targets for other teams look to be Colorado two-way star Travis Hunter, Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter, or Boise State running back Ashton Genty. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
It's back. The 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club happens Tuesday, June 24th. Presented by your local Toyota dealers. Reserve your foursome now at 1080thefan.com.
Brass monkey, that funky monkey.
All right, the NBA and the basketball gods blessed us with incredible basketball last night.
Oh, good.
I have a reeling suspicion it's not going to be as good tonight. Kicking off the night on NBA TV, you have the Bucks and Pacers, which you do have the return of Damian Lillard after being out with a deep vein thrombosis, otherwise known as a blood clot. And obviously, Dame and Tyrese Halliburton went back and forth. We'll save this for another day, but the anonymous NBA poll was conducted by The Athletic over the last couple months. Tyrese Halliburton finished as the most overrated player in the NBA.
Oh.
And a lot of that stuff has to do with politicking and how much guys like guys or don't like guys. Rudy Gobert was second.
Hallie, and I can see there being the on-court aspect of this as well, in that Hallie, he was dynamic, really good, and then he hurt his hamstring.
The hamstring, and he just wasn't the same.
And he's getting back to that form actually pretty rapidly, but it's been a year. And so I can see how there are some people that would say, dude, this guy gets way too much shine. He's not it.
So
he gets framed as being the it guy.
So not every player that voted on this particular thing. So I've been in the locker room when this poll has been conducted, and there's guys who will go, I'm good. I don't want to give something for any particular answer.
Yeah.
On this one though, just as an aside, Halliburton got 14.4% of the vote. So it's not like this massive number.
Right.
But just want to give you an idea of the next people on this list. Gobert, Trae Young, Jimmy Butler, Bradley Beal, Draymond Green, John Morant.
Wow. Notice
anything there? Any trends popping up?
Oh, guys that can be a-holes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's Dylan Brooks?
He is on the list. He's in the next group. Embiid, Giannis, which I think the overrated part of that is people are tired of the aw shucks immigrant stuff that he was when he came over, because he's not that guy anymore.
No, he's not that guy.
Like the whole oh my God, I had a smoothie. This is the greatest thing ever. He's not that guy anymore.
Yeah.
He's just not. And he does play it up a little bit. But yeah. But yeah, no. Dylan Brooks, there's a group of guys all in the same group. Brooks, Paul George, Tyler Hero, Drew Holiday, which I thought was an interesting one, Jaren Jackson Jr., LeBron, Kyle Kuzma, Sabonis, and Zion.
Yeah, all right. You're getting pretty nitpicky at the end.
That's just guys not liking guys. And I'll tell you this, being in a locker room when you get guys to be like honest off the record or anonymous and stuff like that, it's like high school, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's like high school.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
And I feel like the Drew Holiday thing is probably some guys that are taking this poll going, all he does is play defense. It's like, well, yeah, he's really damn good at playing defense.
Well, you heard the Bradley Beal thing, right? Somebody compared him.
How did he not win?
He's on the list.
Well, I know, but how did he not win?
But Bud, Coach Budenholzer, wanted him to be a little bit more like Drew and do the little things, and he's like, that's not who I am.
Oh.
And it's like, it was like a how dare you kind of thing.
Yeah, you're right. You're not a champion.
Not just that, like Drew Holiday's a better player.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're asking me who I want at their peak, give me Drew.
Drew Holiday is a phenomenal number 3 on a championship team.
Like Bradley Beal, don't get me wrong, he could score, but it wasn't that great, that efficient, wasn't that great of creative for his team. Like Drew Holiday,
has he been out of the first round?
Beal, no. Because did Phoenix? No, I didn't make it out of the first round last year, so no.
Yikes, dog.
Yeah, tough sledding.
Yikes.
But again, the games tonight. Bucks Pacers, which we talked about this leading up to this series. There's some legitimate bad blood because and this is why the in-season tournament is nice, because you do build these little hatreds, and I love this because the Bucks and Pacers become it's not only they're regionally close to each other and they play each other 4 times a year. There was a little bit of juice in that in-season tournament.
Yeah,
and there was a back and forth. Remember between Dame and Hallie, and then you had Ballgate.
Ooh, 2017 was the last time he was out of the first round. He's been out of the first round 3 times, Bradley Beal. 2017.
Oh, they did with the Wizards.
With the Wizards, yeah. They made it out of the first round twice, or 3 times, and not since 2017, which I don't count because that was before COVID.
pre-COVID.
That's
But
a different world.
do you remember the whole Giannis setting the Bucks scoring record and trying to get the game ball?
Yeah.
And the whole, like Giannis going into the locker room,
They ran off with it. Literally took their ball and went home.
And again, there's some good hatred there. So I'm hoping that Dame is able to go out there, knock the rust off, and even up this series. Grizzlies Thunder. I was listening to Chris Vernon, who, for those of you who don't know, he's the Memphis host, big Grizzlies guy.
Doesn't he host it like from the arena?
I think they're a part of it with the Grind City Media thing.
Is that the guy that does the Masters updates?
Yes.
Too, that he's okay.
Yes. But I was listening to them on the way in. He's like, I don't expect them to win a game. And it's not about the Grizzlies. It's everything about the Thunder. He's like, the Thunder have like 8 dudes on their team that would start for the Grizzlies. They're just that deep.
A unit.
Now, are they going to lose by 51? No. Those guys need to show up, though, if nothing else for pride, because a 51-point loss, I don't care if you're a play-in team. You were a team that was in the the second seed in February.
Yeah, this is, though, something that will happen, and it happens with young teams in the playoffs, too, is like last year, OKC, they took their lumps, and they got their medicine served to them, right? That is step one of your evolution. The next step is when you are the favorite in a series, and especially when you have a big win, how many times have we seen we got this, and then they get caught on the chin by a team that's like, no. Now, I don't see Memphis being able to do that because Ja Morant is
hobbled.
I'm not even going to put him at like 75%. Yeah. He's like at 60% right now.
But Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. could not have had worse games than they had in Game 1.
Yeah.
They were awful.
But fresh legs for OKC. You're going to be ready to go.
So how does Memphis acquit themselves? And again, this is what I talk about when you're talking about projecting the Trailblazers offseason. Watch Memphis as a potential nuclear zone.
Oh, all right.
Like, that's definitely on the table. And then you have Timberwolves Lakers. And that Lakers team got run off the floor. They brought their C unit out there in the final 5 minutes because it wasn't a close game. Luka was incredible. LeBron, despite his chase down block, was more than human. And I don't expect Naz Reid nor Jalen McDaniels to shoot the way that they did. But looking at the tracking data coming out of that game, 27 wide open threes for the Timberwolves. That's not the Timberwolves making shots. I mean, it's a make or miss league, blah, blah, blah. But there's more to that. And if the Lakers don't get their S together on defense and let guys take practice threes, you will get embarrassed.
Lakers are 5.5-point favorites.
That's a big number.
After getting blown out in Game 1.
As a point, just to show how big of a number it can get in the playoffs. Did you see what the Thunder?
6 right now on some books.
Wow, that's crazy.
14.5.
I saw it 15.5 a little while ago.
I got it at 14.5 right now.
That's crazy.
That's a massive number for OKC. But here's the thing with the Lakers, and JJ Redick was getting criticized for this, and we talked about this yesterday. He's getting criticized for not making adjustments. It's the playoffs. You get Game 1, you feel it out. Game 2, you start to put your counters in, right? This is a veteran team. If that wasn't a wake-up call, I don't know what will be for LA. Minnesota also already knows they already stole home court. And they'll come out hard, but if that thing goes sideways on Minnesota, they can go, hey, mission accomplished in these first 2. This one could get away from Minnesota if LA comes out. Like I think they will. Luka and LeBron, they're going to be on one.
I mean, it's a pairing that you go, if they went for 75, 20, and 20, would you be surprised?
No. And then what is LeBron going to do?
Yeah. Right? My goodness. But you do have those. There is some more intrigue for tomorrow's game. Not that it's in the grand scheme. Well, it's more grand scheme than the individual game. Did you see Jason Tatum? He has been downgraded.
Oh.
For tomorrow's game against the Magic because of that wrist.
Oh.
Because of that. Did you see the fall he had against the Magic?
Yeah, I did.
That wrist is bothering him, and that could be a big-time issue because Jaylen Brown's already dealing with a little bit of a tricky knee. He's been battling it really for the last 2 months. If Jason Tatum's right wrist and Jaylen Brown's knee are both issues, look, I don't expect them to lose in any round except for in the Eastern Conference Finals when they face the Cavs. and I don't expect them to lose, but I did pick the Cavs. But if you're going into that series with Tatum and Brown dinged up,
Yeah, not good, Bob.
That's
Also,
interesting.
Really quick before we go, because I know we're against it. Third quarter last night, when Jokic went to the floor and Kawhi stumbled over the top of him. Do you see him fall? I was like, he got hurt again.
Oh God, no.
I would have felt so bad for Kawhi Leonard, but like, because Jokic comes up underneath him, he's laying on the ground like doing like a log roll, and he went right in the legs of Kawhi, and Kawhi, you could tell it took him like a fraction of a second to be like, "Oh, I'm good. I was panicked that he got hurt again.
I will say, coming out of that game, Michael Porter Jr. got absolutely smacked.
Yeah, he did.
Mid-court, and that's something that the Nuggets are watching.
Shoulder, man.
Yeah, he got his bell rung.
Yeah, he got landed on hard.
Yes. So there's some interesting storylines abound out there. Coming up, we got a little bit of news to announce.
Yeah, we do.
We'll get to that next year to wrap up today's show here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. Got some official news here to wrap up today's show.
Yeah, man.
Our network and the Oregon Ducks have agreed to quite a long deal to carry all of your favorite Ducks programming here for the next 5 years.
Yeah, 5-year deal with U of O. Will continue to be your home of the Oregon Ducks for at least 5 more seasons, hopefully a lot longer than that. I mean, this has been a great partnership on both sides for both us and Oregon, and we're going to continue to bring Ducks football, men's basketball, now women's basketball into the fold on 1080 The Fan, and I'm excited for it, man. It's really cool to have this partnership and kind of see where it has grown to and where it's going. It's awesome.
Quack, 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 quack.
Vamos, Patos.
Look, that call is tremendous.
Yeah.
That was Washington State, right?
Washington State, yeah.
God,
yeah.
that call was incredible.
That was a great one.
I mean, look, man, hearing sports calls in other languages, the Spanish modifier languages, they do it the best.
Yeah.
Whether
in baseball, too. We also have Ducks baseball as well.
But-
Top 15 matchup, Ducks Beavs this weekend in down at PK Park.
That's like a real no BS baseball matchup, man. Like, you don't get many of those outside of the SEC.
It's fun to see what Mitch Canham has continued to carry on at Oregon State, and then Coach Waz down at Oregon, what he's been doing with
Where
the
they
Ducks
built
baseball
this.
team, man. It's going to be a fun one, and it's going to be right after the spring game, which you can hear the spring game right here on The Fan coming up on
look at that.
Saturday. Huh?
Convenient timing.
Let's go. But no, it's awesome to have the Ducks back on board for another 5 years here with the Fan. So let's go. Giddy up, folks. All right. That'll do it for us. Look, great baseball night tonight, or basketball night tonight, and baseball, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, baseball's going.
We got baseball stuff. Coming up next is 4 hours of power from their mouths to your ears. It's prime time with Isaac and Buck because Souk is creating an international incident as we speak.
In Rome, where the Pope has just died.
In Italy. So
He's going to be thrown out of the Vatican.
He's going to be thrown out of the country.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll sacrifice. I'll go pick him up. All right. That'll do it for us today. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you Wednesday from noon to 3 right here on The Fan.
Bye.
This is Rick Jones of Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men. Child custody is the most emotional issue our clients face. If you're a divorcing father, the relationship with your children is about to change. But that